Okay, minor blip, but I think we're back. YouTube looked like it disconnected and decided to close off the stream, so we're here back again. Hopefully this archive goes good. If the other video ended abruptly, I'm sorry for that. All right, back to what we were doing. All right, and also, yeah, sorry for the interruption. Amorphous specifically, I know you just got back. Welcome back. Let's see. I was saying that I need to do the equip logic, but I was going to do that later, and we're going to continue laying out the screen to try and look like the mock-up that I have here. So we're trying to make this thing look the same, and it's getting closer. Next steps is this thing down here should be updating to be equip count, but let's, for the sake of just layout, do that. Can we double this to 16? Font looks kind of gross when we double it. If we zoom in, is it any better? It's fine. It's fine, it'll do for now. Alright, so that's that. The buttons themselves need extra information, so we have the equip thing. We don't have the node counts on them yet, but that's okay. I kind of want to move the skill name on them to be a little bit more this way to line up, but I can also move the skill title, essentially. Skill title? Is that this one? Yeah. We can line it up that way as well. So 75 seems right. 62. We zoom in real close on the screen and kind of use that as a line. 60? 61. That seems close enough. All right, good. And we're going to just rename this while we're here to name text. So we're going to leave the nodes out for now, but that should be the buttons looking a bit closer. I think I might have to hit apply. Do I have to hit apply on the name change? Not sure on that one. Let's select it. Let's open the prefab and make sure everything's looking similar-ish. Ooh, the width hasn't taken. So we have to come in here and hit apply on that. Apply on that. Apply. 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 Okay. Now if we go back to the scene view and look at the button again, open in prefab mode. Okay, that looks closer. So the real test will be kind of disabling this guy and then hitting run and seeing what happens when it populates. We need to set this up to auto turn off. And that broke for some reason. Specifically because we have to assign the equip icon. So we started trying to populate all of these skill buttons we just made, and it broke real hard because it didn't know what the heck the equip icon was supposed to be. Oh, interesting. Thank you for that tip. Let's go to the channel. People in chat. Oh. Let's mute myself so that we don't hear echoes. People in chat are saying that the Dead Cell Twitch extension is still showing up. How do I turn that off? That is in my dashboard somewhere. Under plugins? Ooh. Look at all these cool plugins, my extensions though. Let's deactivate the dead cell one. Okay, that should be deactivated. You may have to refresh, or I might need to restart again, but hopefully that went away for you. Okay. Best I can do. So we have fixed the equip icon. We go into the screen. Data populates. All right. So that's looking closer. It's looking a lot closer. I'm leaving myself tons of room to kind of play with the character stuff, because we may need to show more information about the character. This mock-up may be too simple. We might need to show more information. And just for like reference specifically, when I say that, what I mean is that if we look at something like Final Fantasy menu. Generally, their menus have a lot of like stats on them. Item. Menu. Like when you go to cure yourself with magic, you usually click on your character's face with the potion, and you usually see this information. This screen might have to do the same thing, because it might be where we use healing spells as well as equip our skills. So we might need to have that same level of information here. For now, though, this seems fine. A couple things we need to tweak/fix. Also, this is updating correctly, which is nice. We just can't see which ones are equipped. I'd like to also change this thing to be fading on and off, and auto disable. So this is the ability title bar, which doesn't need to be a button. Okay, so this is the background. Good. Ability title bar. This needs a auto deactivate, and it also needs an entity component so that we can reference it from other systems. And this will be the I'm trying to switch over to skill. So this is not ability title bar, it is skill title bar. And skill title bar on set active. We will turn on the bar on open, and we will fade this bar up from 0 to 1 on open as well. Sounds good to me. Now, I did notice that when we hit enter here, it looks a little weird. Oh, where'd it go? It's on. It didn't fade up. Did I not set the alpha? Oh, I didn't set the alpha to 1. Okay. Boo, boo, boo. Debugging issues. Okay, so now everything's appearing. And if I hit escape, nothing happens. Now, that's because we set up a screen transition from main menu to skill unit select. We have not set up the inverse. So we also need to set up when we're closing the skill select screen and going to the main menu, in which case we need to open the main menu, but we need to close the skill screen, which unfortunately means doing everything in reverse. So we're going to do this, and we're going to take a look at how we did that on heal. Looks like on heal we didn't actually do it properly, so we'll do it properly here. So we're going to disable everything, turn it all off. But can I select multiples? I can't. I need to drag all of these to the bottom. This is where like a multi-disable step would be good. This is also part of what I'm doing with this. It's like I built up this sequence system specifically because I want to have the sequence system for like combat as well as for like fading screens on and off. But like when we're in combat and we want to have a character like move forward, play an animation, play a particle effect, play a sound effect, play a damage effect, all of these things could be sequence steps, and building up a specific sequence for a fight might be a thing we do for individual skills. So each skill might have a sequence that it runs on, or a parameterized sequence. But the sequence system can also be used for cutscenes. So like you can have sequence steps to move a character or to display dialogue. I hit the mic. I apologize. I'm talking with my hands. But you can have all of these types of sequence steps. But like immediately for UI, I'm finding like, as I try and stress test this system, I'm finding stuff like this, where it's like, this is clunky, and it would be great if instead there was a set multi-active step where I could give a list of entities to turn on and off instead of having like 5 different steps. So these are the type of things that I think I'm going to think about more. And maybe it's that each sequence step might want to have either an individual entity ID, or maybe they should all just be a list. And if you want, you can put one entity ID in, or 20. Yes, I accidentally added the hit mic sequence step, for sure. You are correct, chat. So now we are going to go from alpha 1 to alpha 0, 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 alpha 1 to alpha 0. But the last one has to be blocking. So what this will do is all of these will fade down, and this one will say, but wait for me to finish fading. So we don't continue transitioning or anything. And then once this one's finished, then we set all of them to false. And the reason this is important is technically when we do a close sequence, so close screen sequence, and then a open main menu sequence, which is this one. When we do this close and the open, we actually combine the two sequences together, and we take the close sequence, make it the first one, and then add all the steps of the open sequence together with it. And so what will happen is this will read as run through all of these, then wait on this one to finish. So all of these should take about the same 1 second, basically. So they'll all fade down, and then once this one's finished, then we'll move on, turn them all off. Then we'll go to the open main sequence, and we'll run this one where we'll fade up, basically. Cool. Button. Back button. Forward button. Back button. Playing with fire. Alright, so again, to build one very simple screen that basically just fades up and updates as we move through the menu, it seems like we had to do a lot of steps, and there's a lot of like, have to do this, have to do this, have to do this. However, we now have the ability to open the screen and close the screen, and potentially we could even open the screen from other locations just by calling open on it. So that's pretty good. Pretty happy with that. The next step is when I hit enter on this, I would like to go in and actually select these abilities. Basically. And so we need to set up a new screen to handle that. So we're going to go in here and we're going to, I think, copy the ability, excuse me, the ability heal screen. We're going to stop play mode. And we're going to make the skill screen skill select. Sounds weird, but I think that's actually accurate. And we're going to want to duplicate probably this one as the base that we want to work off of. Because again, we had something similar for the heal stuff I kind of prototyped out a long time ago. Well, like a couple weeks. But a couple weeks can feel like a long time. Skill, screen, skill, select. I feel like this name is actually backwards. I'm going to rename this. I think I need this to be the other way for my brain to be okay with it. Unit select skill screen. And then same thing with this one. Yes. Oh, this one never got changed. Skill, select, skill, screen. Okay. Okay, all right. Good, good, good. So now this guy needs to reference the skill menu. And it wants to reference an ability info box thing, but that'll be later. So for now, we'll just commented that part out. But this will be essentially the thing that displays information about the ability. This is now expecting not this value, but instead the skill menu button is what we would expect for this type of object of type skill menu. We're going to rename this to M skill menu. Good, good, good. And now we get to add that to this thing. So instead of the ability heal one here, we're going to add this new skill one. And this thing needs to... that's the wrong one. The skill select skill screen. And this needs to reference the skill menu. So that is specifically this guy. And this will be known as the skill select skill screen. Good, excellent, great. So here we are going to re-enable this code with this value. Okay. And if we've done things correctly, because we're mostly just kind of copying and pasting some pieces around, we did not. Okay, what did we do wrong? It looks like my auto-generating code got confused because we duplicated a screen. This list of things is generated based off of assembly, so it seems to have think that it got confused, I think. Okay. So that's technically working. We've now transitioned to the skill select screen where we're selecting skills. The problem is our pointer is behind the HUD UI. I wonder if my pointer needs to be parent locking. I don't think so, because that causes it to... is it parent locking and layout element ignore layout? Parent locking is going to put it directly behind the object it's selecting, essentially. Yeah, so that works better. So now we're selecting with the pointer here. And that's basically it. We're now able to select these things. Now we need to do things on them. So, a couple points. Number one, this screen is technically supposed to look like this with the skill information, the character name. So all of this information needs to shift left, and this stuff needs to shift off screen, and we need to bring in some more components from the right. Is technically what I want to do here. That's not too bad. Let's try that. So, we're going to have it so that when we transition from unit select to skill select, we're going to play a sequence. And the close sequence will be character unit left slide skill screen, and this doesn't want to do any of these fading actions. It's instead going to want to do a tween UI, and it's going to want to tween UI the character shoot. Okay. I'm going to rename this. Which means I have to rename it here and here. That's a bit clunky too. This is kind of the problem with the entity system, is because it's by string, there's no way to like rename it and have it actually just populate to all the places it's being referenced. I think it's only being referenced by the sequences right now, so that should be all the places it needs to go. Anyways, we're going to move this. We're going to default its starting position, and we're going to try and move its end position off screen. Now, we just were looking at this a moment ago, and I literally wrote a bug in Hack and Plan in here for this problem, which is that the tween UI position is not UI relevant. So where we think that the things should go isn't accurate for this thing. So UI sequence step. This do local move doesn't actually position where we think it should. We actually want to act on the anchor position. So we want to do a tween, but we don't want to do a do tween. We want to do... we're going to have to do a little bit of Googling. Do tween. We're going to look at the documentation. How can we do a thing that isn't a move? Because we don't want to do a move. We want to specifically operate on... It's not a do move. Because this is acting on the target's position. And local is working on the local position. But we want to actually act on the anchored position, which do tween doesn't have a default function for. So we have to write our own. But they do give us that capability. So we want to... I don't think it's a do fade. Oh, maybe they do. It's a do anchored position. Is that all we have to do? Do anchored position? This expects a vector 2. For now, we're gonna just hack this. We're gonna have to fix it anyways. Let's just turn end position into a vector 2. What are you still mad about? What? Oh, because this do tween core now doesn't match. This wants it to be a vector 2, vector 2. In order for us to save it. Okay. Can I display a vector 2 here? I can. Alright, alright. So then let's try testing this to see if this works. So we're going to try just moving this thing. We're going to say that its starting position is negative 229 and 95. And then we're going to move it just down to 50. And we would expect 50 to be here on the screen. So basically, it's like a 50% move down. Okay. To be clear, in case it was unclear, the bug was specifically that the position wasn't reflecting what we would think it was. The value, if we put in like 50, was somewhere off in the middle of nowhere in space. What? Why did you... What? Oh, we didn't update the slide, so we want to actually close with this one, and for now do nothing else. So... might have to restart. I think it takes all of this data on load and actually, like, banks it. Okay, so that looks to work. So do anchored position seems to actually be the functionality we want. So that will fix things. Let's make this actually transition over time. Okay, okay. So then let's try default starting position. which now means this can be defaulted. I said this earlier, I'll say it again. Technically, my UI would be better if when I hit this button, it removed this set of fields, but it doesn't. But I know that that doesn't matter now. So let's do -425. This needs to be 95 still. Okay. Okay, okay. I do wonder about, having to hard position these things. In some regards, it would be nicer if it was just like, I want to move it 50 pixels to the left. Let's play with that. Let's play with that. So let's duplicate tween UI. And let's change this to shift UI. It's still technically a tween though. Translate. And then let's rename this one to be more clear. And this is going to be renamed to tween UI2. That sounds weird too. It's tween UI to position. Tween UI to position, which is specifically I'm giving it a position to tween to, and then tween or translate UI. Maybe it doesn't need the tween. It kind of does though, because you could have a UI to position that is instantaneous without it having to be a tween, in which case honestly you could just use the same step and it's just set the seconds to 0. Ah, whatever. We're close enough. All right, so translate UI. And this, instead of taking a vector end, instead, what if it just took a translate amount? Translate vector. And then it doesn't have any of this default start stuff, because I think it's going to assume that we just use the default start. And then we have to calculate the end position. So we're going to grab anchored position, and we're going to add to it the translation vector, and that will create a vector 2, which will be the end position, like so. Slam that in there. Then we don't need this anymore. We're just using that for reference. And this should be a sequence step that translates, not goes to. Question is, did that break all of my sequences? This is still just a tween UI. But tween UI doesn't exist now. Now it's tween UI. Oh, interesting. Oh, because we have errors. What are our errors? Oh, this needs to update all the constructors. And now this thing doesn't have nearly as many things. We need to change this to translate vector. And that needs to go here to here. It doesn't have a default anymore. It doesn't need a start vector. Because it doesn't have that as a parameter. Okay. The constructors are primarily for if we're dealing with situations where the code is generating this, not using my little UI that I've been messing with this whole stream. But if you want to manually create these in code, these constructors need to be set up. But most of the time I keep it minimized because it's not entirely necessary for what we're doing. Good. Now we have this potentially working. Do we have more errors? The same field name is serialized multiple times in the class or its parent. Can you show me where? Or I just clear it and it goes away. Okay, cool. Huh. Well, I hard broke everything, it looks like. These fades look okay. Now, is that because I deleted it and it doesn't exist anymore? I think I did. Okay, so if I ever rename these things, I break every sequence step in existence of that type. Okay, noted. Thanks for stopping by, Torabus Random. Thanks for stopping by, Random. Appreciate you chatting and hanging out. Really do. It's been nice seeing people in chat. I know I'm kind of in focus mode right now. I'm not necessarily engaging with you guys, but I hope everyone's still enjoying it. Focus mode. I feel like we're getting somewhere. It's honestly been a while. Like, not just for streaming, but it's been a couple weeks. I'll be honest. WoW Classic TBC has consumed my life fully and completely. But I really wanted to try and get back into doing some more JRPG programming and honestly streaming. And, like, is good. It was hard to pull my way away from WoW to the addiction is strong. But I'm having a ton of fun, and I really appreciate everyone. So, that's all I'm trying to say. That's all I'm saying. Skill unit. Menu. Let's translate this thing. Okay, so let's try this. So let's try translating this thing down, let's say 50 units. What would that look like? It just to be, understand if that's right. Oh, it wouldn't be down, though. If I did just 50, I think it would be plus 50, which I can do. Yeah, it would go up. So let's do minus 50 units down, and then using whatever that position it's starting at is, then move it to negative 400. and $95, which should diagonal it back up because it'll come down 50 units and then go over to here essentially. Theory Infinity says, brother, race to 70 by like the second or third day. TBC sounds exhausting. Yes, it is definitely those things. But I've been having a ton of fun. It's something I've thought about streaming as well, but number one, I don't think you, the audience, necessarily likes TBC or WoW content per se. Manage type. Interesting. Oh, did it lose my data because I didn't, I was running? Oh, that's annoying. This should be easy to set back up. But also, like, I didn't purposely make my account in such a way that it's easy for me to, like, stream without, like, issues. So, anonymousness and whatnot. Use default starting -425 and 95. Okay. We know what 95 is, so we should be able to tell if this works. That broke again. Why are you breaking? Is the asset failing to save? Is the asset corrupted? Is that the problem? By changing the asset definition, it hard breaks everything to the point where, oh no, Visual Studio, go away. Is that I have to make the sequence from scratch again? Oh my goodness, what did I do? Make a new fresh sequence, give it the same name, let's just do the translate one for now, until we get this to stop breaking. I want to write less code, and -50 over 1 second, and then use this close. Yeah, I bet you when it tries to update the asset, it breaks because the object of that type doesn't exist anymore. So I can't rename my sequence steps without breaking all of my existing sequence stuff. Okay. Okay. So that worked. So then if we do that in combo with this guy, let's make them both blocking, because I don't know what happens if I make them non-blocking. I think the sequences would fight each other. They would like jigger, like it would pulse back and forth as it tries to tween between two different positions, I think is what would happen if this was non-blocking. So now it should go down and then diagonally back up and off screen now. All right, exactly what I expected to happen. However, this works pretty well for me, I think, because I think I just want to be able to go, hey, I want this thing -500. Just shoot it off screen, please. And like that, it's done. Okay, so then can I do the same thing for the title menu? Translate UI title menu, this guy, and translate it -500 off screen over 1 second. 500 is probably too high. What about -50 or 100? See if that works, because it was pretty quick as it ran off screen. Well, that was the wrong piece I wanted to move. Let's change this one. So -250 maybe? Does that get it off screen? Now, when we hit back, we'll need to translate it back by the same number. Oh, now in this case, we don't want this one blocking. In fact, I don't think we want any of these movements blocking, because we want all of it to move at the same time. Okay, cool. So then let's duplicate this guy, and then let's do skills. Okay, and then this should be the skill menu elements, so these guys. So this one, title bar, sadly there's no way to copy and paste sequence steps in this current UI. I might want to build something better at some point, just because that is a kind of nice feature when doing these types of things. Alright, and let's say -250 for these ones as well and see what that looks like. So everything's just going to shift 250 pixels left. Or probably not 250 pixels, I don't know how many. Oh! It's pretty close. It's like surprisingly closer than I thought it was going to be. Probably could be like -275 though. 275. $15.2, $15.4, and the rest don't score. Classic cribbage. Sorry. Alright, cool. And so now we want to go back. So if we want to go back, we want to do the opposite. So we're going to duplicate both of these. I don't love the naming convention on these, like left slide, right slide, but I don't have a better one yet, and I can always rename the name of these things. Nothing's dependent on these names. And so for these ones, we're going to just do the reverse. We're going to put everything back to where it was. Okay, and then we're going to, again, add a new transition, but this one will be skill select screen to unit select screen. And then this will be the closing screen on this one is technically the skill. I don't think it matters because none of them are blocking, so it'll all happen simultaneously, but still, just in case ever, I want to keep it consistent. So we go forward, and we go backward, and we go forward, and we go backward, we go forward, and we go backward, we go forward, and we go backward. Interestingly though, as they have different amounts they slide by, you can actually see ooh, it broke. Oh, it broke real good. I was going to say, though, you can see as it slides left, the skills actually lag behind. Like, these move slower because they're not going as far. So they don't have to move as far. So over 1 second, it looks they're moving slower. Their rate of speed is different. But that's a problem. The fact that these can get out of alignment, essentially. If I go in, out, it breaks. This one needs to be blocking. I think what's happening is because none of the first left slides are blocking, it means that the sequences run and the next set of sequences run over top of them and they fight. That's the wrong one. This one, the skill one, needs to be blocking, because otherwise they move at the wrong speeds. Okay, so we go... And that seems to have fixed it. And now that seems to have broken it. That's because I hit enter on the screen, and I don't know what's happening right now when I hit enter on that screen. When I try and hit open... Oh, it's trying to open some other random screen. Okay, let's get rid of that for now. This may break again once we do actually have the third screen that we go to, because there is a third screen this thing navigates to. Okay, you can still break it. If you enter and close, enter and close, enter and close, it breaks. Oh, but is that maybe because of the fact that this one doesn't have a break either? So which one is the bottom one in this case? It's this guy. If this one's blocking, then we should be able to queue them up infinitely and they shouldn't overlap. Nope, that's wrong. I don't think we join our sequences, is what that tells me. And I think we should, is also what that tells me. So when we start a sequence and we add a transition, we combine the name to find something that is the correct thing, we get the sequence steps, and we do add the sequence steps to the sequence builder. So basically, all of these sequences, when we actually use them, just get compiled into one sequence builder that just concatenates and more steps onto the end of it. Or at least it should be, as long as it hasn't been completed. Huh. So in theory, if this is the right one to be blocking, it should read this one into this one. This one is blocking, so you won't be able to continue. Then it reads this one into this one. This one's blocking, so you won't be able to continue. So they shouldn't ever overlap unless the sequence is completed. So what does it mean for a sequence step to be complete? That's the question, I think. Sequence is complete if we finish its loop. But if anything's blocking, we should be stuck here and not able to get to this true. Interesting. Okay. Let's extend the length of all of these to be 10 seconds. So that it's not happening so fast, and we can better understand what's happening. Okay. So now if I hit enter, and I hit enter once, well, that didn't take 10 seconds. Does this translate UI function even use the seconds properly? What's happening? Where's the sequences? Yeah, it should run on whatever the seconds values we put in is. So if we put in 10 seconds, it should take 10 seconds to animate. That's clearly not taking 10 seconds though. So what is happening then? The speed is 19, huh? That seems wrong. Something's updating the speed to be high. So there is a system in place that as you add more sequences when they're not complete, it speeds up. And it speeds up so that, like, if you were to go through 5 screens by hitting A very quickly, it doesn't show you the sequences one at a time at regular speed. But if you spam the A button confirming through multiple screens, the idea is that it should go faster. But I don't feel like we went quickly on these ones. All right, we have a breakpoint. So why is the speed cranked way up? And can I see that from the other? Ugh. Yawn, yawn, yawn. No, I can't. We should also be clearing the speed, shouldn't we, once we finish it? Oh, we start a new one. So the new one should have a clear speed. Sequence steps. There are 5 sequence steps altogether. Okay. Sequence builder, start coroutine. What is the speed currently? Is something just setting the speed to 19 randomly somewhere? I don't understand. Let's go to sequence builder. Where is speed set? Speed up is set here. This is internal speed. Turtle speed should be 1. Okay. We'll get here. We'll get there. Okay, okay, okay. So we hit enter here. Internal speed is 2.5. All right. When did you get set to 2.5, my friend? Is that a watch to this so that we don't have to keep hovering over it? Where even are we? Okay. Internal speed is 19 on this guy. But no one ever called set on it? Huh. Interesting. Yeah, we never call update on speed. But somehow speed is like random values that I wouldn't expect. Like it's protected set to 1. Is it set any? No, it's only ever set here. And we never hit this breakpoint. So sometimes it's like 2.5, sometimes it's like 19. But we can't see any rhyme or reason for it. Okay, fine, whatever. Let's set this sequence step to... Oh, I'm in debug mode. I was like, where did my normal UI go? Let's set this to 100 seconds. Okay. Brute force solves everything. Something is truly messed up with my system. Okay. Okay. It's still good enough for me to test. That's a different problem I'll have to solve later, but... It's just busted now. Okay. Let's... Oh, no, it's not busted. We hit another breakpoint. So... It almost feels like it's getting slower. Do I have the speed inversed? Interesting. Back and enter don't do anything now. So I can't go forward or back in my screens. Let's look at screen controller. Interesting. Let's put some breakpoints on open screen and pop screen. Because I would imagine that what should be happening is as I made it slower and slower and slower, if I keep hitting enter and back, I should be entering into the next screen and exiting the previous screen and kind of quickly like queuing up a bunch of sequence steps all at the same time, but they should play out quicker and quicker and quicker and quicker. But that doesn't seem to be what's happening. So we popped, we speed up, we hit enter. Okay, we're speeding up. We're popping. We're speeding up. We're speeding up. We are continuously getting faster and faster, but it doesn't seem to be affecting my sequences. So the idea is supposed to be that every sequence step gets its speed updated. And when its speed gets updated, because there should be now like, 115 sequences, and every single one of them should have its sequences updated. And then it should be hitting this on update internal sequence, or an update, and this should be setting the do tween sequence dot timescale. And now its timescale should be 11.5, so it should run faster. Is it just too slow? Is the buildup of speed on 100 seconds just... It's probably just exponentially too slow. So the question is, why does it start at 100 to begin with? Or at 19? And the only thing I can think of is that when we set up the sequence... we might want to just set the speed to 1. As like a starting step, because something is defaulting it to 19. Speed equals 1. But we do that after we set the sequence steps. That seems funky. One of those got set to 0. Okay. I'm gonna say we're fine. It's just some weirdness with the timescale speed up stuff that's causing us some weird issues. The other thing that's here is that, like, as much as it's easier to use the translate UI, because we're translating by fixed values instead of telling it to go to specific locations, it means that it can over time become unsynced because of the stuff we're doing. So like it'd be much easier if everything was just like well, that happened. So so it is speeding up. It's just 100 is too slow for us to notice the difference. But if we spam it here, we can see that it is working. This is what we've been trying to solve, Amorphous, is we're trying to figure out why our UI is just freaking out if we spam too much. And we've made it very slow to start in order to get a better understanding. Interesting. Is it when I hit escape too many times? So if I go one enter, one escape, one enter, one escape, one enter, one escape, one enter, one escape, one enter, one escape. No. Eventually it freaks out and just starts moving off screen. Okay. It looks like what's happening is like a slide right is getting duplicated and before a slide left, and then we get out of phase. Ha ha ha. Okay. Let's in scene controller. Let's debug.log. Let's do it here. In here, combined value. Let's debug.log what we're actually playing. So combined value. What do we got? Okay, so we got the window open. Okay, we hit enter. We're going main menu to unit select. We're going forward, back, forward, back, forward, back, forward, back, forward. Unit skill, unit skill, unit skill, unit skill, unit skill. Okay, so it did sequence properly. It added sequences one after another. This add range should be adding it to the end of the list. What a fascinating problem. It clearly is going one then the other, one then the other. And they are blocking in sequence. So like left has a blocker on the bottom, which we have determined is the end of the two. And then this one has a blocker here, so they won't overlap. One, two, one, two, one, two. That felt like more than 1, 2. Like 3 iterations. So we're going forward one time, back, forward, back. So forward, back, forward. Forward, back, forward, back. 4 clicks. One, two, three, 4. 1, 2, 1. Oh, okay, okay. So that was, I had it hit escape, and it still went on that final step. So it's the 1, 2, 3 that does it. So it's if I'm mid transition, and I hit enter to go forward, and then I hit I want to go back. Oh no, I want to go forward. Then I want to go back. What if I go slowly? So in, back. I don't know what's happening. Okay, I give up. That's unsatisfactory for narrative purposes, but like I'm gonna have to like go through this with a fine-tooth comb, I think, in order to figure out what the heck is happening that's causing it to go so far out of whack, because it's clearly taking them one after another. It's clearly doing one sequence all the way to completion, then another sequence all the way to completion. So there's not it's not that like they're going too quickly or overlapping. It seems like it is very clearly going until it completes. What I'm gonna have to do, I think, is I'm actually gonna have to go all the way down into the sequence system at the very root of what a sequence is, and I think I'm gonna have to put in so if we go into here, in here, I think I'm going to have to put a breakpoint in each and every one of these and go through them one at a time and try and figure out exactly what's happening with each and every sequence step. It's going to be a very slow, potentially hour-long or multi-hour-long process. So for now, we're going to say that it gets a little funky if you like try and go back and forth too quickly. And that's a problem that is like not the end of the world. It's not going to prevent us from doing the rest of this work. It just might be annoying in some spots, but can't figure everything else out. Can't figure everything out all the time. So we come into here, we hit escape. We come into here, we hit escape. Yeah, as long as we don't queue them, we're fine. It doesn't like randomly play another one. If we wait for it to finish its animation each time, we're okay. So now, the next thing is more UI elements, showing the skill information on the right hand side, stats and improvements. Also want to show the character name of the character that you selected to get in here. So this should say guard right here. Another thing I'd like to try doing is having 2 different button presses. Which I think is a first for my system.